Hello everybody and welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your Hammers headlines in association with our good friends over at 𝗛𝗛𝗡𝗛𝗡𝗦.com. Make sure you do go and check out the wonderful content as per usual. And as you do know, when we do this show, we bring you some of the headlines of today. There's been plenty of headlines and there's probably going to be shed loads more of headlines coming your way. But I thought I'd take some of the stories and expand on them a little bit. So without further ado, I will get cracking on the first one. Now, we all know about players incoming and outgoing, and the first one I want to talk to you today about is this man, Aguerd, who has finally been sold. He departed for Marseille in a £20 million fee, which I actually think is actually really good business. Now, he did travel to France on deadline day to undergo his medical and discuss personal terms, but he had to wait till this morning to be unveiled as a Marseille player. Now, he did, apparently, according to sources, refuse to play against Nottingham Forest and travel with the squad because he wants to push through his move to Marseille. Now, he departs the club after 3 seasons, having spent last year on loan to Real Sociedad. And he did play a key role for West Ham as we lifted the Conference League in 2023, but was unable to stake a claim to become a regular of minutes under Graham Potter. Now, West Ham have brought in a replacement in 𝗛𝗛𝗡𝗛𝗦 to replace him, and he's been and Aguerd has went on and signed a 5-year deal with Marseille. So it's an interesting one. Lots of people calling him a rat, a snake. Shouldn't have said what he said, shouldn't have done what he'd done. It's done, he's gone, and I'm happy we've actually brought in a decent amount of money. I know we spent a lot of money on him, but considering he had a lot of injuries in his career at West Ham and he spent a season on loan, I genuinely was starting to worry that we weren't going to bring and invest any of that. Sorry, let's not talk about investment, but bring any of that money in the door. But we did, and I'm actually okay with the amount of money that we generated for him. So let me know in the comments your thoughts on Aguerd leaving for Marseille eventually, as I get cracking on the next story, and that is about this man, Earthy. He wants to stay and fight for the West Ham shirt and fight for his place in the team. Now, West Ham insider, ex-WHU employee, he did come out last night saying that Earthy did have options to go out on loan, but he wants to remain at London Stadium to force his way into Graham Potter's plans. He obviously sees Graham Potter's pathway into the first team as an opportunity to be involved in the squad. We did see Lewis Orford leaving to join League One side Stevenage. Orford had other offers from other clubs in the Championship, but he decided to go and choose development at Stevenage. And Earthy himself potentially has a lot of opportunities, but he wants to stay and fight, and that's the sort of stuff we like to see at West Ham. A young player, young prospect, having the belief in themselves to be able to challenge, push forward and fight for his place in a West Ham shirt. So that's much needed, exciting news. I think that we've got the young prospect willing to stay at the club and fight for his opportunity. As I move on to the final story for you today, and that is that West Ham did try and do another last minute deal. We made a deadline day bid apparently for Fenerbahce defender Jadon Osterwolde. He was looking, Graham Potter, to add some more defensive stability into the squad. But it's eased a little bit now after the victory over Nottingham Forest. Turkish dirt journalist did speak out saying that West Ham made a last gasp offer for the Dutch centre-back. He said, the Dutch journalist came out and said West Ham made an offer for Jadon. Fenerbahce will not allow his sale unless an extraordinary offer is received. He's a left-footed defender who joined the Turkish Giants in January of 2023 and was set to and was going to potentially provide competition in that back line. He's gained experience in Italy and Holland, played for FC Twente in 2020 to the 2022, Parma from 22 to 23, and that included a loan spell at Parma in the second half of the 21-22 season, and joined Fenerbahce in 23 to now. West Ham obviously are trying to look at our defensive line. Aguerd's gone. We brought in 𝗛𝗛𝗡𝗛𝗦 into the setup, but we did try and push through for a move for Jadon. Now, he has had struggles keeping fit throughout the course of his career. Last season, he did suffer an ACL tear, which kept him out for the majority of the season. And he missed multiple games in every season of his career. If you look back from last season, missed 43 games. The season before, 6 games. Season before that, 5. Season before that, 2. Season before that, 6. But the ACL one is a potential concern for us. But he has and did not sign for the club. So that brings an end to your Hammers headlines for today. Talking to you about Naif Aguerd leaving the club. Earthy desperate to stay and fight for his position at the club, in West Ham pushing potentially for a last minute deal to bring Jadon Osterwolde in from Fenerbahce. Leave your comments in the comment section, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, go and check out KUMB.com, Knees Up Mother Brown, for their fantastic content as per usual. Take it easy and come on you Irons.